Good evening and welcome to the July Volunteer Forum. We're coming to you tonight from the Amazon of CFA here at the State Logistics Centre in Scoresby. We're going to see a lot of the inside running of the State Logistics Centre and talk to a lot of people that make the operation really tick to ensure that you get what you need in the field to do what you do best, which is protecting our Victorian communities. As always, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional lands of the people, the Wurundjeri people, to which we come for tonight's forum, and I pay my respects to the elders past and present, recognise the connection to sea, land and sky, and I also welcome the elders of other Aboriginal communities that might be watching us this evening. Lots to talk about, but right now I'm joined by Chris Bitton, our Manager of Supply Logistics and Supply Chain. I've probably got that wrong, but you make everything sort of tick in here. Tell me about the State Logistics Centre that people might not know who you are and what you do.
So we're about 8,000 square metres undercover here. We've been here about 5 years. We moved from Knoxfield. We essentially stock close to 1,000, 1,200 lines. We distribute close to $10 million worth of stock per year, and we distribute 400,000 line items, if you like, or individual items every single year.
Mm-hmm. So if you're looking for PPE, hoses, gloves, boots, workwear, we're in front of the workwear pick and pack section here. It's all here. A couple of questions, quick five if we don't mind. Most popular item to come out of the store?
Most popular item is water. Important to hydrate our volunteers while fighting fires.
Mm-hmm. Second most popular?
It'd be wildfire gloves. Again,
really?
Yes, again during the season.
The strangest thing that we stock?
Rake hose.
Rake hose. I reckon there's probably a few general firefighters out there that wouldn't quite consider that to be strange. Talk us through, I guess, we are in front of the workwear section here. Explain to us what we're seeing and how this all works.
So essentially what we've got is we've got our bulk stock up the top. We've got our pick face here. So an order's entered through the system. And we then we're able to pick, pack and dispatch. So we've set it up so that we've got a manual handling to be able to move the goods through the warehouse quickly and efficiently with minimal health and safety issues.
So workforce that come in, do the picking and the packing into the boxes, shipped out to the field, whether it be the districts or otherwise.
So it's out to the district most of the time.
Yep. Okay. In the boxes here, and Adrian Barnes, your workwear's on its way. So look, fantastic in terms of the workwear perspective. Next generation PPC, I see you've got probably the similar type setup, but over the back here.
Yeah, so essentially it's the same setup, but we're in reverse. So we come this way rather than go that way, if you like. About 6,000 sets currently sitting on the shelf with more stock coming in.
So a little bit of myth busting time now. I know there was a bit of conversation around a while around, we couldn't get stocks, couldn't get access to whether it be workwear or next generation PPC. What's the truth?
There's close to 6,000 sets of both workwear and wildfire. As I said, there's more coming in for the wildfire. We've got orders of almost 5,000 sets to still be delivered.
Yeah, so talk us through, I guess, an average fire season. So we're coming up to what we anticipate to be quite a major fire season this year. What are some of the things that you do here at the State Logistics Centre to get ready for a season?
So most of it is a review of what happened in the previous seasons, together with what we think the new season will be like, so that we can then stock the quantity of materials on the shelf that we think we're going to need for that season.
Do you get in like a seasonal stock?
Yes, so things like ration packs, water is generally seasonal, but we generally plan for year round. We do sort of run, if you like, almost two seasons. We have a structural season that happens during sort of the winter months because of more house fires and incidents and motor vehicle accidents because of poor weather, poor visibility. And then we have the summer season, of course, with the wildfire.
And on an average day here in the State Logistics Centre, how many people would be making it happen?
So there's actually three different teams. So we work the general SLC team, which is if you like, satisfying all the stock to district, which is essentially a team of four. We have our structural team. It's three at the moment, but we're hoping to get the fourth person in. And we've got a team of two that's coordinating the wildfire and the workwear at the moment, because the majority of the rollout is done and it's now almost a BAU.
So it's workwear, it's next-gen PPC, it's structural PPC, hats, gloves. You know, I see there's rows of tunics over there, shirts, anything that we might need here in CFA. Odds are you're going to find it here at the State Logistics Centre. Can volunteers and brigades come into the State Logistics Centre to get what they need?
So we're looking to expand that and say yes they can, but we're working through that at the moment to ensure that if they do come, they can get an experience where they can get their gear as quickly as possible.
But yeah, and you're doing fittings and that sort of stuff at the moment?
So we do fittings by appointment, but we hopefully will be opening that up, and we are resourcing for that.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Chris, for having a chat about the State Logistics Centre. We're going to have a bit of a walk through and have a chat to some of the team that make the magic happen here, and to allow you at home to be able to see more of this fantastic facility, what they do, because they really do ensure that we get what we need into the field. Any of the militaries across the world will tell you wars are won on logistics, and certainly we've got a fantastic team here that make it happen. So thanks, Chris, for an introduction, and let's have a look to see what's coming up on tonight's show. Well, again, thanks to Chris and the team for making it happen. As I said, I'm looking forward to having a conversation to a few more people tonight to understand what's going on. As I said, a jam-packed agenda. We're going to be talking about radio replacement program. We're going to be having a look at some of the technologies there. We're going to be walking through trucks and having a look to see some of the great work our engineering teams are doing, and also having a chat to Madison around what's it mean to understand how we supply our structural PPC and what happens when you order it, and in fact send it off to be cleaned and those sort of things. And she's going to touch on another little thing that's been released recently, and that's digital stores. But in the meantime, I did touch on it at the end of the last forum, and that was around the Emergency Services and Volunteers Fund. Again, a subject that I know is quite passionate for many of our people across the state. We've recently released some communications to our members around the Emergency Services and Volunteer Fund, particularly insofar as to how you, our volunteers, can access the rebate for the levy. I've been advised today that 500 volunteers have already accessed the portal through the Department of Government Services to lodge their rebate, and we expect many more thousands will do so in the coming weeks as rates notices start to hit people's inboxes and mailboxes. We are also seeing, as a result of that, a number of volunteers are taking the opportunity to ensure their details are correct in the system, which is a requirement of ensuring we go through the rebate process and the processing. We've seen 12 volunteers already update their details and make sure they're correct. Again, fully acknowledging the emotion around the levy at the moment, particularly our rural and western members, but certainly our focus at the moment is ensuring that you get what you're entitled to in as far as the emergency services rebate through the portal. More information is available on Members Online, and I know the team are going to throw some links into the chat to allow you to get some more information. As I said, feel free to reach out to your district or have a chat to your brigade management team. Well, in May Volunteer Forum, we had some conversations and had a look at forestry industry brigades and the great work that they do, particularly in the west and southwestern parts of our state. We've got forestry industry brigades right through the state, but certainly the highest concentration of them are in that part. We've taken an opportunity to actually spend some time with a forest industry brigade to have a look at their appliances and their equipment and how they operate in the field. Let's have a look.
My name's Darren Murrell. I'm here today with Tank of Fire from PF Olsen Brigade, and I'm just going to show you through the specs and what's going on with our tankers. We've got 2 live reels on both sides. This is the motor. Once it's going, we usually set it up at about 600 kPa. If we need to have more pressure to get up the top of the trees and that, we just use that as our throttle to get more pressure. We've got an intercom service in here that we can talk to the driver of the truck. This here's our prime. This is also our foam. As we walk around the sides, we've got our hoses and branch cabinet. So we've got like all our hoses in here, plus when we're using our quick fill, so we've got a quick fill on the side here as well, down here. So we use those hoses there to be able to fill up the trucks and that out of a dam. Got foam branches when we're using foam. That's the monitor up there that we can use to hit off bigger trees on the side of the tracks. If there's fires and that right on the side of the tracks, it's really good to use. Then we move on, we've got our chainsaw cabinet. It's also got like a little backpack in there to be able to squirt out little spots if we need to be, if we can't get the hoses out to it as well. And then also extra unleaded. Now we're up the top of the back deck. Obviously got our hoses here for action as well, plus another intercom box to talk to the driver again. We can also start and turn off a pump here as well. And this is our like our burnover protection if we get caught in a burnover as well up here. Other things up here on the back deck are our lights for working at night time. Racos, we've got 3 racos and a shovel over that side. So this is where that monitor that we've seen in the cabinet hooks up to for all the extra pressure to get up into the higher ones, plus we've got fire blankets down in there as well. It's a 4-person cabin. We've got our fridge to keep our drinks cold. We've also got extra fire blankets in here for burnover protection as well. With our radios and that, we've got our company radio here, so we can just talk to each other throughout the company. Like every vehicle's got one of that in through PF Olsen. This is the intercom system here that we were talking about with the other 2 spots. So that's the driver's intercom one there. Also got a PA one where we can talk straight out to warn people out the front as well while we're going. Other radios we've got in here, UHF, CFA, and then other tankers in our fleet have also got CFS. But this is just the Hamilton one, doesn't have that one. This is the Guardian system, so all the PF Olsen vehicles have this system in their fleet. It's pretty much just for fatigue reasons. So if you fall asleep or sort of start nodding off, it'll alert you by vibrating the driver's seat and making a beeping noise. And then if anything happens going down the track, it'll also send an alert to the head office in Melbourne. So this is just where we keep our suction hoses for our quick fill to draw out of the dams. So we've got six of these to be able to help with getting water as well.
Well, a big thanks to our forestry industry brigades who do a fantastic job right across this state, ensuring that our private plantations are looked after and secured in times of emergency, but also ensuring they're prepared for the season coming as well. So a big thanks to the team there. Well, I'm joined by the lovely Madison Brown. Maddie, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us, what's your role here in the SLC?
So my role is Manager of Supply and the Structural Ensemble Program, which you can see behind us. We have quite a bit of structural PPC here to talk about.
So let's talk about structural PPC. I know a topic that's quite passionate to a lot of our members that are watching this evening. So if we have a look around, like what are we seeing over here, Madison? Well, we've got pallets and pallets and racks and racks. What are we looking at? So take us for a walk through your domain.
So starting here, we've got new structural PPC gear. Everything in these brown boxes is brand new structural PPC. And then what you can sort of see towards the back here is our Domino's red pizza bags. all which have...
Let's go and have a look.
Let's go have a look.
So they call them the pizza bags, obviously,
Yes.
for various reasons, because they look like they do look like one. So yeah, talk us through what are we looking at here?
So in each one of these pizza bags is a used structural PPC garment. Part of the program is when you're a first initial firefighter, when you get your first set, you get brand new gear. Then if you retire or no longer need it or you're resized, the gear gets put back into used stock. And then when you're up to getting your additional set, you get used gear.
So the myth about when you put it in for cleaning and it shrinks and comes back a little tighter, that's not the case?
No, that is definitely not the case,
So-
and you don't lose it. It's just going through its laundering process, and it may end up
So
here.
it's me, not the gears. What
No,
you're
it's
telling me.
unfortunately yes.
Right. So they come in, and I guess we've got some here. What are we looking at the bins here? What do we got?
So in this part of the process, the team is going through and grading each gear. So we grade it 1 to 4, 1 being brand new, 2 being used, 3 being for training ground quality, and then 4, it needs to be decommissioned. So one that we have here is what's called grade 2 news. It's already been worn, but it's still very much fit for purpose. There are a couple little bit of scratch marks, but otherwise, a really good jacket.
So they'll be looking at the condition of the jacket.
Correct.
Looking at the condition of the moisture barrier.
Yes.
And those sort of things. Yep.
Yes, indeed. And then in that, as you said, there is the moisture barrier. There's 3 layers in every structural garment, but there's also an RFID tracking chip. So people often say, I've lost my gear. We can actually see where it last was. So in the jacket here, there's this little 10-cent piece looking chip. It's also in the trousers. This is then scanned by RFID scanner, and we can see its last movements.
And so for when we do send them in for cleaning, you know where they are, where they're up to,
Exactly.
and the rest of it. So these are grade 2s. As you say, grade 3 is this pile here. So that's training grounds. So
That's correct.
Not for internal operations, but sufficiently good for the training grounds and the environment that they're used in.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yep. These are towards their end of life, but they are very much still fit for purpose and can be used across all the training grounds.
So how many sets of structural PPC do we have right now?
Right now, in the State Logistics Centre, we've got roughly 3,000 garments, which make up 1,500 sets. So quite a lot, and that's in used gear. In new gear, I'd say we've got about 1,000 garments, which could make up 500 sets.
500 sets, okay. So talk me through, I guess, it's a bit of myth busting, because I know a lot of people are out there probably screaming at the television right now, to be frank, around, where's my gear, Madison? Where's their gear?
Where's their gear? Well, at the moment, we're in a process of moving completely to the digital store, which we will talk about shortly. But moving between systems, there have naturally been slight delays, but we're doing everything that we can to make sure that those delays don't impact us operationally. But through the digital store, you'll also be able to see where your order is at in terms of endorsement. And as always, there's the structural PPC mailbox that you can use to check in on the status of your gear.
So in the changeover there, we do have a bit of a backlog, as you said. Now I know you're working day and night, literally
Day and night.
putting more people on to do that. When do you anticipate that backlog will be cleared?
Yeah, hopefully, absolutely fingers crossed that backlog be cleared by Friday 15th of August.
So rest assured, the team are working very hard to make sure you get what you need. I know Madison and the team are right over it. And as I said, they're putting on more resources and they're working every day to make sure that we're getting those orders out the door to you. So let's talk a bit about digital stores.
Digital store,
What's it all about?
So digital store is our brand new baby. It's our new toy. So it is an online ordering platform where 1, you can personally purchase a wide range of things, and 2, you can order your structural ensemble. Later in the year, we're going to be releasing a new edition of the digital store, which will include digitalising the brigade purchase order process.
So I can still do my brigade purchase orders as normal?
Nothing changes.
Nothing. I can still order through my district as normal?
Yep, as normal.
But now I've got the ability, if I want something personally, to go on
Correct.
and do that.
If you want to buy a new jacket, Chief, you can go straight to digital store. Nothing else changes in any of the processes.
And available on
your phone?
on the mobile phone, on the thing.
Yep.
and so the SAP Work Zone application, I've got my application right here. As Madison broke my heart earlier today because I'm not affiliated with the brigade as chief. Unfortunately, the digital stores doesn't load on my device, but I know it loads on yours. But again, really simple to use. Really sort of user friendly. Log in, affiliate as you would normally do for members online. You can do everything again through the tablet. So what sort of things can we order?
Yeah,
through digital stores?
What you're wearing now, Chief, we can order workwear on the digital store. You can also order dress blues as well, other merchandise and certain operational items.
Captain Koalas?
Captain Koala is everyone's favourite at the moment. We have quite a few orders for them, as well as the workwear baseball cap.
I was going to say, what's the most popular item so
the
far in digital
baseball
stores?
cap, yes.
Yeah, so it's only really been going for 2 weeks so far. How many orders have you received
We've
already?
received 250 orders already, and yet we have another in the endorsement process for structural ensemble, so another 100 in the pipeline. Lots going on.
Lots going on, and I guess just goes to show the want and the need by our people to be able to order stuff direct from SLC and get it to you. I know at the moment I think the SLC delivers to district.
Yes, that's correct.
And then talk us through about what the next version looks like.
Yeah, so as I said, in the next version later in this year, we're wanting to do the brigade purchase order process as part of the release.
Yep.
But in future, we want to increase our capability with the deliveries. So whether that be straight to the brigade or even to your front door, that would be, the all-round excellent experience. And
I'm sure music to many people's ears that we're talking to. And we're just going to take a bit of a walk down to our next area there to have a chat to Shane about radios and mobile tablets and the like. Madison, I know there's a little side hustle that you do for us in CFA, and that's in respect to our gender appropriate PPC. Here's your time for the plug.
Here's my time. Yeah, so everything that we do in CFA, obviously we want to get adaptable to all gender types and all body shapes and sizes, whether you're a male or a female. Some males wear female gear, some females wear male gear. In Wildfire, we've got male and female sizing. Then in structural, we have the awesome capability that you get a standard size structural garment, but then we can completely alter it, Chief. We can do complete made to measure. So nothing gets more precise than that, having it cut out for your body.
Yeah, and it's really about form, fit and function, isn't it?
And safety.
And safety, because if it doesn't fit, if it's not right for you, you're just simply not safe. And I know, Madison, you work very tirelessly to ensure that all the gear fits. I know you made sure my gear fits, although I still reckon it shrunk when I sent it off for cleaning.
Yep.
And look, thanks for everything that you do. I know you work very hard ensuring our members get what they need, particularly in the structural space. You've got a fantastic setup here. I know many of our members will be looking forward to receiving their gear and the hard work that you do.
Thank you, Chief. Yes.
Thanks, Madison. Well, now I'm going to walk over here and say g'day to Shane Peacock. Evening, Shane.
Evening, Chief. How are you going?
Excellent.
Can you get mic'd up?
Oh, mic'd up. Yeah, we'll get to. Whilst we're getting mic'd up, we might actually show a bit of footage there of from the radio replacement program and some of the supply things that are happening, and some of our partnerships with private enterprise, and particularly the
Waverley,
the community sector. Tell me about how that came about.
Yeah, so particularly with our bag radios, what we wanted to do is reuse the existing bag radios that we had, the TEWT ones, and rather than redesign the whole thing. So we needed an organisation that could actually take the TEWT radios out of the bags and repack them with the new Motorola's. So we engaged Waverley Social Enterprises, who CFA's had a previous relationship with, and they came on board to assist with the packing of the bag radios.
And I think it's a really good example of a partnership, as you say, with Waverley Industries, but also reusing, recycling, so that we're not throwing away all the gear that we have, the TEWT radios, and reusing that. So that's absolutely fantastic. Are you able to give us some stats about where we're up so far with the radio replacement program? Yeah,
sure. So radio replacement programs, I suppose the end's in sight. You would have seen down behind Maddie was where pretty much all the major work went for our radios. We had Motorola working in the back there. We had usually anywhere from 6 to 10 Motorola staff there, programming up the radios, configuring them, labelling for us. All those racks there were absolutely chock-a-block at the peak, and they're pretty empty now. So we've rolled out most of them.
And I think one of the benefits of, I know, the hard work that you and the team have done with Motorola, and the reason why we went the technologies that we went to, is that ability for over-the-air programming. And I know you mentioned to me before around, hey, we did a firmware upgrade in the next portables, and I sort of said, well, how does mine get updated? And he simply said, well, Chief, just turn the thing on and a little arrow will appear, and next thing you know, the magic will happen. And sure enough, it did. And now I get the 6-figure grid references as opposed to the long version. So I think that's a really good example of the technology and how we can really streamline about how we update our radios into the future.
Yeah, it certainly gives us a lot more flexibility, and we can be dynamically adaptable to change things. And so we're doing well, because pretty much as at the end of this week, all the brigades across the state will have received their portables. Nice. We're just finishing some in District 24 this week, and that's all portables done for the state.
Excellent.
Our mobile radios are also doing really well, and by mid-September, I know a lot of people say, when am I getting mine in my truck? But mid-September we will have finished all the mobiles as well. So the remaining ones are very close.
So Alison's showing us some gear on screen here. We'll start with the bag radio. Just want to explain to people what a bag radio is and what it comprises.
Yeah, so this is the bag radio that we get Waverley Social Enterprises to do. So this enables us, it's essentially a transportable radio where we can either use it in a vehicle and connect it to the 12-volt supply of the vehicle, or if people wish to use it as a local base in their home or anything like that, they can just plug it into mains power as well and use it as a local base. So we got that flexibility to be able to use it for either a transportable radio or a local base if need be.
Seatbelt loops?
Yeah, so because we've obviously got to make sure they're secure in vehicles, we can't just have loose equipment floating around vehicles. The design of these, which goes back to the TEWT days, is that in the little red bag behind there, there's actually some straps, and those straps enable you to go behind the back of the seat, clip in there so it's secured and safe inside a vehicle while it's travelling.
So I know all the technically minded volunteers out there would know the answer to this, but for those that might be watching that don't, would be thinking, why go to all that effort when you can just have a portable radio? I guess the difference there is, with a bag radio in a car, 25 watts.
Correct. Yeah.
And with a portable, we're only at 5 watts,
5 watts. Yeah, that's a big difference, really. It gives you the full capability and coverage compared to a portable.
So moving along, what do we have here in the centre?
So this is what we call a local base, or FST, fixed station terminal. So for pretty much a lot of stations that have got a local base radio, some will be in a comms rack in a room, but if you have got one sitting on your bench or something like that, this is what we call the fixed station terminal, the local base. So it's exactly the same type of radio that you'd see in all of our heavy vehicles, what we call the E5, and that's an example of what you'll get there. It has a backup battery as well, so that it can also operate in the case of power failures as well. And most people would be familiar with the portables. As I said, as of this week, we will have rolled out all of the APX Next portables. So we've talked about those before. We get a lot of really positive feedback on those, particularly with the Smart Mapping, and Smart Connect has given us additional coverage as well.
So whilst we be portable with our mobile data terminal, and we head our way over to our next talking point here at the trucks, you want to explain to us what we see here?
Yeah, so this is part of our mobile data capability project. Some people just call it the tablets in trucks, but we're in a process of installing this where we can have a number of applications such as SAS, which most people are familiar with. The situation app, that is where we will be able to see a map where your current location is, where the incident is that you're responding, and also the resource tracking and water points. So you'll be able to see pretty much the vehicles responding, where they are, where your water points are, and things like that. We have quite a few other useful apps such as ANCAP, Hazmat, notepads, etc. Camera, I'll flick across as well. We can do things like email and then do your normal SAP work zone, which was mentioned before. So we're currently in the process of programming these up and putting brackets in trucks. We've got about 400 odd of the brackets have now been installed in vehicles.
Yep.
So we're moving through that, and the tablets are in the process of just being programmed up as well.
Okay, so I think District 13, Roundup Group have done the trial. What are we learning from the trial?
Yeah, so when we did the trial, we got a lot of feedback in terms of some of the useful apps and what wasn't so useful, but a lot of feedback in terms of the placement, but also simple things like the need to be able to log on quickly, power requirements. That's something we've worked closely with Samsung about, so that the devices will automatically power up on the ignition, but also working through with them to, when you turn it off, the device will power down. It gives a warning, because if you've taken it out of the bracket, you don't want it to shut off because you want to use it.
That's right.
So it'll give a countdown and you can cancel that.
So I know we'll talk a little bit more about this appliance in a minute with Matt Chick from our engineering department, but Shane, do you want to jump up and show everyone at home what we see in the cabin?
Yeah, so typically we're in the process of mounting the brackets around in all the vehicles, a lot of tankers, pumpers, FCVs. The idea is that the tablet sits in there. It's designed for the crew leader to be able to use it, navigate or access it. It is a swivel, so it can be turned around if for some reason the driver sitting in the driver's seat needs to access it. We can also simply remove it from the device if we need to take it out of the vehicle to make notes, take photos or anything like that. But that's what we're in the process of installing. The project's got 950 tablets to install throughout the state, and we're on track to roll them out over the next couple of months.
Well, thanks, Shane. Look, I think that's a fantastic initiative, and again, I thank to District 13 and everyone that's been involved in the MDT project. It's a fantastic project there, and whilst I'm delaying and talking about MDTs and trucks here, our next guest is getting mic'd up. And you do see the truck here behind me. We want to hear a little bit more about that at the moment. But I would like now to introduce you to Matt Chick from our engineering department. How about we take a walk over here, because I think there's some quite exciting news. And whilst we're going through that, you can see where the magic it happens. And say good day to the team. Give us a wave, everybody. Yay. All the hanger-oners. Welcome. Thanks for coming along to the forum here this evening. So Matt, we're in front of obviously a cab chassis. Now we've got a little bit of news for everyone out there that might not be aware, but we saw an opportunity last year, last financial year, and took it to get quite a number of these.
That's
How many
right.
did we get?
So we've got 50 of these.
50.
So they were stopping production of this model, and it aligns with our prototype, so we got 50 on board.
So every truck that was left in the country, and maybe a few overseas, I think we managed to successfully get. So well done. I want to talk us through let's talk about the cab chassis, and then we'll go and have a look to see this and what we turn it into. So walk us through
So this is an Isuzu NPS. It's a 155 horsepower 4x4 with an automatic gearbox. It's very low profile, small wheels. It's a great truck in that 2.2-2.4D range.
So low profile, I'm hearing better for trying to get into stations that might have some door height issues, yeah?
That's right, that's right.
And we were talking a bit earlier, and the power to weight ratio?
Yeah, it's quite high. So 155 horsepower on 8 tonnes. It's up there with the biggest in our fleet.
Nice. So how long does it take the manufacturers to turn this into, and we'll go for a walk, into this over here?
So once they're in production, we're talking 4 to 5 months in a production line, but they can pump them out about 1 a week once they're going. So having a run of 50 is going to be a really good, solid year of deliveries.
Yeah, excellent. And I know a lot of you will be asking where are they going and the like. And I sorry Dan, if you're online, I'm pretty sure you're probably getting smashed with those questions right about now. But the beauty of it is we bought them for, obviously as part of our VESIT program, but there will be some extras as well. So we will be able to roll that out. And you mentioned there before, because I know colloquially we call it the light. Probably not technically true because it's 2,000 litres of water. So it's really the same operating capacity and power as we have in our single cab medium fleet, yeah?
That's right, it's very capable. The production version will have a 650 litre a minute pump. It's a 4x4, it's got 2,000 litres on it. That's the key items that make it what it is.
So it's the the Jenny Craig version of a medium tanker, I guess, is what we technically could call it. I'm sure you out there would come up with a better name than what I can. Let's take a bit of a walk around, because I know we've sort of seen this before.
Yes.
But you've made some improvements and some changes based on some feedback, haven't you?
Yeah, you might recognise it from the Cobram volunteer forums.
So
I just have to turn the headlights on.
I can turn the headlights on?
So we can see what we're looking at. Some of the improvements we've made is emergency lighting. So we've got 3 levels of lighting on the front.
Mm-hmm.
We've got more side lighting for the reds and blues. We've got a lot of feedback about helmet storage in the cabin. So we've redone the B post stiffener. We've moved the helmets down low, so a bit like your medium pumper design. And then in the back seat as well, we've changed the layout. We've centered the fridge. We've made the TIC, the thermal imaging camera, more accessible. The helmet's more accessible, and you can see that B post stiffener is completely bare.
And I think that, because this is based on the changes, basically really on exclusive volunteer feedback, people that have been in the field using appliances and sort of saying, hey, we think we can improve things. The F-15, we finally got a solution to store them. That's fantastic.
That's right. As you can see, both helmets fit in the same bracket, and that's what we've been targeting for a long time.
Brilliant. All right, well, let's continue on around the truck. What are some of the other changes and improvements?
Another big thing we received from the volunteer feedback in the tour was the BA capability, or the ability to storage BA sets. So we've done a big rejig of the stowage. We've had to move fire extinguisher down low. We've got nozzles and branches in a sealed drawer underneath, but that's given us this extra space in the near side locker for 2 sets of BA, 2 spare cylinders, BA board and some torches.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I know when I was up in District 11, they had a conversation with me about that. They absolutely loved the truck, but said, Chief, be even better if we had some BA on it. So, some really good engineering there. And I think you've done a fantastic job to make that happen. And it really is about making sure we meet the needs of our people in a way that makes sense. So what else are some of the other changes that we've made?
That's pretty much it.
Pretty much
it for the feedback. We've made some ergonomic changes, a bit of safety changes. We've got covers on the head strike zones and things like this. But it's really about learning what we can on this prototype platform so that the production version can be optimized. The drawer in the production version won't be underslung down low under here. It'll be integrated into the bodywork. It's about the concepts that we're doing here. Yeah,
and we had a conversation earlier, and some of the, one of the things that jumped out at me is, because we had an electric chainsaw on there, where's the charger? Where's the charger, Matt?
We've taken the charger off. We haven't got a good solution for charging batteries in a reasonable time, so we've got enough stowage here for 3 batteries plus the one on the chainsaw, so 4 batteries can get you a long way.
Well, I guess by the time you go through that, you're either ready to knock off or find someone else to do the task. So I can appreciate that. Well, again, Matt, fantastic job. Again, I'm guessing you'll be out and about showing people, trialling.
Right. Next steps for this tanker is it's available for district reviews if you need to have another look before you make decisions on whether it's available or suitable for you. And
I think let's put things into perspective. Let's talk Turkey a little bit, because I think this is important for our people to understand. Based upon best estimate, prototype, that sort of stuff, cost?
We're looking at 350 complete at the brigade.
For the current medium?
600.
Current heavy?
700.
So we're starting to sort of 2 of these for every heavy. I'm starting to sort of get that the cost down, the economics, starting to make some sense, and really we're delivering a product that has the same capacity as the current medium, really, isn't it?
That's right. It's a 2,000 litre 4x4 crew cab. That's what we're at.
Well done, Matt. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Well, CFA, 80 years. And as we stop and pause and reflect on the journey that we have made, and I've got to tell you, it has been a really massive journey when you start thinking about particularly talking about trucks, where our forebearers started around the Merryweather pumps and all those sort of things to what we have today. During our 80th year celebrations, we celebrated 80 days of CFA, 80 and 80. Let's have a look. Team for your fantastic effort in producing the vehicles that you do and that allows our volunteers to do their critical work. Well, I'm joined in person this month by Rowan Luke, our Deputy Chief Officer for Training, and we're standing on something that's pretty special here, Rowan. When I first turned up, I thought you were going to try to convince me to buy something off the plan here, but you're not. It's our new TEWT map for a place called Emberville. We'll have a little bit of a chat about this later on, and we'll talk it through it a little bit more. But you're going to look down the barrel and give your training update for this month. So over to you.
Beautiful, thanks Jason, and thanks for the introduction. And good to be able to do it live tonight. As cold as it is, but it's good to be here. There's a few things I want to talk about tonight before I go to the TEWT map. So firstly, our AFAC recommendations. So those who recall back in 21, we did a review into training. Jason commissioned it. Came up with 14 recommendations. We've now signed off another 4 recommendations under the AFAC review. Firstly, recommendation 3, which is a single representative for training, which is our Training Governance Committee. So we now have a structured committee that has oversight of all training in CFA. So we've ticked that one off. Recommendation 4, which is a single point of truth for all of our training materials and data. That's the LMS, and I know there's still some challenges people are experiencing with the LMS, but as we continue to settle that down, it is our source of truth. Our data, our reporting is starting to feed from that, the Learning Hub or the LMS. Recommendation 7, to revitalise our volunteer and assessor instructor workforce. So we've renamed our volunteer trainers and assessors to instructors. We've issued blue helmets, so there's now a new marking for instructors. We've done a whole lot of work to support our instructors, particularly our volunteer instructors, but our paid instructors. But our volunteer instructors, we've got workshops and conferences, we run PD sessions and similar. So we're really looking to uplift. We're running more training and assessor qualification courses over the next period. We've run some in the last couple of years and we're running more this year. And the fourth one is recommendation 13, is around sharing our materials with others and working closely with other agencies. So we've got a really strong relationship with AFAC. We work with them at a number of committee levels. We've been working with CFS in South Australia, obviously with FRV on a weekly basis around some of their training and our training that we look around alignment in some areas. New South Wales Rural Fire Service has been a really strong partner for CFA in recent times, particularly with our group leader course. And we're now striking up a relationship with DFES in Western Australia. And we're looking to roll out Suppress Urban, tongue-tied there, Suppress Urban course, particularly 15 members we've got who are desperate for that course for fire investigation qualifications. So we're working with DFES to get a hold of that course. So there's some really good things that are occurring through that AFAC recommendation. So we've now signed off 8 of the 14 recommendations and still continuing to work through the others through what we know as the Training Enhancement Program, which is the body of work that we're working to deliver on all of our improvements in training. There's a couple of other things and initiatives I'm keen to talk about. Firstly, this book that hopefully you'll see that coming out already if you haven't already seen it. It's a brigade support guides to training. So it gives brigades access to more detail around the rollout of GFF and access to the LMS, which is really important. Our training pathways has been another issue, and we've had some really positive stuff around the pathways, but there has been some challenges still. As we move in and transition into the training pathways, we're doing some catch up. So there's some areas where prerequisites are required, and some of those prerequisites might not be available, or there might be endorsements that haven't been listed yet. So some of the prerequisites for things like some of our command and control courses or our driving courses rely on an endorsement. So we're really keen for people to start recording their endorsements, and so you'll see something soon come out around the endorsement process. And we've also been working with the BASOs about recording endorsements, in particular crew leader, internal BA, Code 1 and Code 3 drivers. So that will certainly help us in progressing prerequisites and nominations for courses through the pathway. I will just talk to you now just about the TEWT map. So if I can, the TEWT, which is a tactical exercise without troops. So this is a map that's now being produced for us as a part of a course rollout. But what we want to do is to get this map out, get the TEWT maps out to every district to assist you in your preparation for this summer. So the tactical exercise without troops is a way of bringing crew members together, crew leaders together, and on the ground, without having to move trucks and things like that, simulate what a fire would do and how we would respond to it. So this map itself,
let's have a look.
It's about 3.5 metres by 3.5 metres, comes in 3 pieces, comes in this lovely golf bag, if people wonder what that is. We will have one of these kits in every district, which will be rolling out next few weeks. We'll also have one of these kits in each of our training grounds. And lastly, in some of our districts that are more remote distances from one end of the district to the other, we'll have 2 sets. What we've done is the sector commander course that's under development at the moment, which is almost complete. It is built on a range of scenarios, and those scenarios are built on this map. So the sector commander course will work to this, but also brigades and groups will be able to use this and run their own scenarios and simulate fires in their own patch. So what they have, what Jason's got is a series of trucks. They're our trucks, so they're models of CFA vehicles. We've got graders, private vehicles, forest fire management vehicles and aircraft. And the way this works is the instructor or facilitator would set up the location of a fire, have a series of scenarios they're working to, and work with the crews, the crew leaders and incident controllers, sector commanders and similar, and talk about the tactics that they would apply in responding to this fire. So in the box we've got a whole lot of red flame, we've got a wind direction, and we've got a compass direction which is facing north. We've got a township here which is called Emberville, and we've got a fire running into Emberville. So some of the things, Jason, that we would walk through, you know, talking about what would be the initial response. So the first incident, first crew leader responding, who would become the incident controller initially, would do it off the map book. So there's a map book that's based on Emberville.
Really? Yep.
Their response, they'd go through the radio traffic, talk about what they're responding to, do a word back, and then ask for additional resources. So a little bit in real time, the resources wouldn't just come racing over the hill, there'd be a bit of a delay. And as the resources come in, we talk about where they're located, how we might sectorise the fire. That fire will obviously grow over time because we're not always successful on first attack, and the crews will work through that to put it out. There's a whole range of resources. In the kits there are tabards, so clearly identify who the initial incident controller is, and there's some sector commander tabards as well.
And we might just have a look over here at the boxes that come with it. And you mentioned before about realistic things that we can put on the map. So as you see, we've got a couple of items here.
So obviously police for traffic control, forest fire management, a grader or a bulldozer. We've got a lat. We've got a strike team, ready-made strike teams.
Look at that.
Yeah, they come together pretty quick, which is really good. They're on pop-ups. There's also a couple of scenarios here, like a truck rollover. So you just don't need to confine this to a rural environment or a wildfire environment. You could set it up for any scenario. The township itself, you know, you can run an urban shoot on that. The other part of this as we roll this out is we have a product which is called XVR, which is our computer simulated command and control module. We've also set that command and control module up for this map. So you could have a crew in a different room or even the same map here, which is a 3-dimensional image of this fire or this township. So it's pretty diverse in how we can use it. It's really, the world's your oyster. If you can think of a scenario, you could run it on here.
And many might recall, I think we were at, I'm going to say this very wrong. There are a lot of people around the state that's going to get very angry with me.
Bullingarook?
In District 18 with Gavin Wright, where he showed us his version of drawing up the and I'm really sorry to the brigade. I know I pronounced that wrong. And I guess we've taken the idea that Gavin Wright had there in District 18 and really sort of made it into something that I see this being rolled out, whether it be in the motor bay of a station,
Absolutely.
in the training room, wherever the brigade wants, people standing around the map, and as you say, having a conversation about what is the wind, where's the direction of the fire going, where are you positioning your resources, what are your first considerations, what are your second considerations. And the other thing I like about this is you can have a good conversation too about warnings.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and understanding, well, what might your first consideration be to where you might warn, second, third, fourth order, and then the bigger picture, because in this instance, as you can see, it doesn't take much before it's then into the bushland proper, and then looks like you've got a bigger problem.
Absolutely. So you can set this up, that this is a division. A divisional commander walks in, it's already half set up. They start functioning. You don't even have them working back to an incident control somewhere else. So the key here is that there's a heap of scenarios that are set up based on this that we'll be able to use for the training and assessment. But there's also, other opportunities. We've got an airfield, we've got a small town in the middle of a forested area. Picture yourself somewhere up in the high country in the northeast or in Gippsland and you'll see the same thing. We've got pine plantations, transmission lines and dams. So there's plenty of variety to think about.
And so one for every district.
At least one for every district.
One for every training centre as well. I'm sure the question will be asked there by some of our volunteers. If a brigade wants to purchase one for themselves?
So we're working with State Logistics on what that could look like. We do have an arrangement with a supplier who's produced these through, we've used Spatial Vision, so the same map books, and a government supplier to produce them. So we're also thinking about, well, how would we do that if other brigades wanted to purchase their own? Hopefully they don't need to. I think 42 across the state's probably a pretty good number. But yeah, we can have those discussions.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure there might be a few brigades out there that might have some money to burn in their pocket if need be. But yeah, it's a fantastic training aid. And congratulations to you and the ODT team for pulling it together. I really do think it's a nice way to bring the realism into training, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's we can have some fancy computer technology and things like that, but standing around talking to each other about what would you do, there's no right or wrong answer, which is a beautiful thing. And where we've run this already with our instructors and just we've played with the idea, it's been really good just to see the group develop in different ideas and start to take a wider view in how they might respond to any of the incidents we talk to them about. So it's really valuable.
Oh, well, thanks for coming in and having a chat. I guess a last minute wrap up or anything that you want to touch on for training before we move on to our next segment.
Oh, I think, Jason, the year ahead is going to be really good for us. Without jumping too far ahead, there's a few infrastructure changes that we're talking about, some really good initiatives. Our driver licence program, so I think we had around 80 odd do heavy vehicle licence, heavy rigid, and 380 odd did the medium rigid last year. That licensing is still available. We're having a look at things like GFF, particularly around our Class 1, Class 2 brigades, and we've been working with a couple of brigades just to look at what options we've got there to try and continue to make the products, or our courses, more importantly, more accessible and more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, well done. And I guess the other little thing you've been working on is, John Catt has been running around the state with aviation simulators. I'm hearing on the wind there might be something coming in your neck of the woods as well.
Yeah, we're having a look at some simulators for driver training. We're still going through the tender process, so we can't say a great deal about that. But I'd like to think certainly this time next year, if not earlier, we'll have a couple of driving simulators that we can get people in and really get them to experience the things that we can't simulate. Code 1 driving, we can't simulate that. We don't have an exemption. And some of those things that are really high danger things like vehicle rollovers, working in rough terrain, we've had a look at some products and I think it's exciting times ahead.
Looking forward very much to that. As I said, some really good news and great work there by the team. Thanks, Rowan, for your update this evening, and thanks for showing us Emberville and what is available to our members out there. So now we're going to move to our July update to understand what's been going on across the state. Well, what a busy month it has been. Are we good? Good. Excellent. All right, sorry about that. So what I was going to say is thanks to Deputy Chief Officer Cook, who whispered in my ear afterwards there. Berry Willock was the brigade that I was trying to remember there before, which, a little fun fact, still happens to be the most watched volunteer forum that we've done so far. So congratulations to the team. It just goes to show how valuable the forum is and that many people love watching and connecting with our brigades right across the state. Well, I've asked Matt back up to the microphone because it's the first time I've managed to get back to the desk here this evening, and going through the questions. Our staff are online as always, so plenty of questions there if you wanted to ask, that'll be there. So Matt, look, Tim Holland says, great work, re the BA storage, big winner, well done. Question here also around the underbar grass fire nozzle.
Yes, that one is still on there. So that hasn't changed from the feedback. The feedback was it was good, so it'll be on their production version as well.
Jaden asks, is the production of this model cab chassis being suspended temporarily or is it permanent? If permanent, what is the future of the light tankers through VESIP? I know they were available this round. Sure,
so the Euro 5 version, the emission standard of this chassis is ceased and it'll be replaced with a Euro 6 version in the future. There'll be a whole procurement process around that when we get to it.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Matt. There's a couple of questions there I know a number of people wanted to ask, and thanks for taking the time to answer that. Well, I've been joined by two of my colleagues here, Tim Connor and Emily Peel. Welcome.
Thank you, Thank you.
So we're here to talk about a very exciting subject, I guess for some.
For us.
But for you guys in particular, yes, no, that is true. And that is the CFA regulations, because tomorrow something happens.
Yes.
Who wants to, tell us what happens tomorrow?
Thanks for asking. So tomorrow we will be operating under new regulations. So The CFA Regulations 2014 will be repealed and we will be operating under new regulations, the CFA Regulations 2025, which will bring about some changes.
So for some out there that might be thinking, that's a lot of palaka. Tim, what does it practically mean for our people?
I mean, practically for most brigades, it won't really change a lot, Chief. So, but what we've tried to do, is working with the Department of Justice and Community Safety, is to make sure that the new regulations are clear and easy to understand, and they support our brigades, in their operations and, I guess, easy management of their members as well.
So talk us through some of the changes and I guess some of the design principles in working with the department, because the reality is it wasn't our job to do it, like it was done by the Department of Justice and Community Safety on behalf of the Minister for Emergency Services. We were consulted through that throughout that pathway. So what are and what are some of the notable changes?
I guess one of the headliners is that Schedule 10 forms no longer exist, so we're getting a lot of good feedback on that. So that's for fundraising for brigades. So instead our CFA finance team has been working really hard behind the scenes to come up with a more simplified way of applying for fundraising approval. So a lot of this information will go live tomorrow on our intranet page, but there will be some really clear instructions and guidance for our brigades to apply for fundraising approvals in a more simplified way. So it just makes it really easy for our members and quite streamlined.
So Tim, I know, and we're going to be hearing a little bit later on from Dr. Helen Zoke, AO, who did our first independent review into culture at CFA, and one of those recommendations was around how we manage volunteer discipline. Now that has had a complete overhaul by the regulations review. Do you want to touch on some of some of the changes from the old regulation to the new regulation in this space?
Yeah, so I guess, one of the things that we went out to do was make sure that there was a human-centric approach to the design of the particular part of the regulations. And that was the removal of a lot of the criminal justice type language. So charges, charging officers. So we've moved to disciplinary action, disciplinary grounds. We've tried to, make sure the process was informal as possible and proportionate as possible as well.
Now, obviously that the discipline process is owned by the chief, and I have a very big interest in this area, as you know, given some of my background. I'm very big on procedural fairness, natural justice, and safeguards. Can you talk us through, some of the safeguards that have been built into the new regulations?
So a couple of safeguards. If a member is suspended and the investigation reaches a 60-day period, that suspension is automatically reviewed by yourself, Chief. So that is an automatic right that's been built into the regulations. Additionally, where a member is sent to a hearing, that member has to be provided with all of that information that's going to be alleged at them at the hearing at least 14 days prior. Additionally, there are a number of roles in this process. Each of those roles, so the hearing officer, the referring officer, the investigator, they cannot be the same person in that process. The regulations forbid that, and it helps keep each of those decision makers separate and isolated from each other.
And I know suspension's previously been a bit of a sore point with some of our people, and rightfully so. There are some mandated endpoints where suspension must end as a result of some of those actions as well. So, some further safeguards built into the system, as well as individual approvals and authorisations for anyone participating in that system. And in order to participate in the system now, I'm requiring some training and certification. Do you want to touch on some of the stuff we're doing there?
Yeah, so there's training and development. So we were conducting some interim training sessions with our referring officers and our hearing officers today. There's also role-based specific training that's being developed for each type of role in that system. So if say an ACFO is a person who suspends people, there's going to be training developed for that particular role. There's also been new templates, guidelines, new SOPs that have been developed to really articulate the responsibilities of the person undertaking a decision and also the rights of the members in the process.
And again, I don't want to harp so much on the whole discipline stuff because it's a bit of a Debbie Downer subject, but it is important because I know it does matter to our people, and that we do get it right. As I said, we've put those safeguards in. There are those checks and balances. There's specific guidelines, SOPs. That'll all be available to all our members to see. So no cloak and dagger or anything behind closed doors in terms of if something happens, everyone will be able to understand what's happening. And we're also going to be doing a series of informative videos.
We are. So those are in development. But along with, when a member's affected by, I guess, or party to this process, we're making sure that videos are being developed. So if they receive a notification of suspension, there is also an ability to watch a video that talks to them about what that means, because we know that, that is quite an intense moment for that person. They don't take everything in. It's about giving them different mediums to intake that information. And
various sort of, people have various skills and abilities to understand some of the stuff as well. So it's important that we provide as much information as we can. So I'm going to leave you over there in discipline jail. I'm going to talk to Emily because I'm sure she's got more joyful things to talk to me about. So I think discipline was a big part of the changes. Permits, model rules. Tell us what's new.
I guess key thing for our volunteers is that senior member will become a general member. Junior members will remain as junior members, but there's been that name change, which will be reflected in our systems. Fire permits, as you've mentioned, so the schedules in the regulations have changed, and the Schedule 12, 13 and 14 fire permits will become Schedule 2, 3 and 4, so you're just minus 10. So that's changed. We've got some simplified brigade or membership management processes, which, as Tim has talked about, will be available in SOPs and forms online. That will come online with the intranet tomorrow. The model rules you mentioned. So the model rules, the rules themselves are remaining the same, but they're going to be found in a couple of different places now. So all of the membership rights that were in the original Schedule 2 model rules in the current regulations have been moved into the regulations proper. The remainder of the content of the model rules is a document that gets approved by the board, so that's an instrument. So that has gone to our board and they have approved it today. So that will be published tomorrow with the remainder of the information for our members.
Excellent. A lot to go through, probably too much to go through tonight. But again, thanks Tim, thanks Emily for your work around regulations. As I said, it can be a bit of a dry subject sometimes for many, but they are important. They do outline how the organisation operates. More information will be available on members online. As we said, there'll be more things coming out, some videos, some SOPs, some guidelines to ensure that everyone knows what's going on, so that our people can operate within the new regulations. And just a bit of a shout out there to my friend Eric Collier. Absolutely, the whole discipline process and improvements have absolutely fundamentally being built on the basis of natural justice and procedural fairness. And if I have not said those two terms 100 times today during the training, it was really the fundamental principle of how that's being worked through. So I am very confident we will see a discernible difference in how those matters are dealt with moving forward. So I just want to move on a little bit because you're both volunteers in fire brigades. What's your thoughts on the season ahead? Tim?
I guess, Chief, you'll probably know the weather predictions better than I would. But obviously, from everything we're hearing, that could be an early start to the season potentially. So obviously, early preparedness is quite important.
Yeah, Em, you're...
Well, former volunteer, but still remember having it drilled into me the importance of tree hazard and the burnover drills.
Absolutely.
Come from Upper Ferntree Gully Fire Brigade, where they were in an entrapment in 2009. So the brigade management team really emphasises the importance of those drills before summer, and we go out and practice, or the brigade still goes out and practices every summer out in the bush. So very important for pre-season.
Thank you. Well, team, again, thanks very much for coming along and talking tonight about the regulations. Thanks for your insights to the season. And Em, thanks for the plug on the Chief Officer's minimum safety requirements, because I do think we are going to need to start them a little bit earlier than what we normally would this season with the outlook and the underlying dryness that we are seeing. Look, there's been some rain, there's been some good rains across many parts of the state, but the reality is the rainfall deficit has been so severe that even the rains that we've had over the last couple of weeks are not going to go near bringing us back to where we should be at this time of year. So we will come into this summer with a drier environment and an elevated risk across many parts of Victoria, and we'll have a little bit more to say about that in the coming volunteer forums. Well, I guess keeping along the lines of, we spoke about some discipline related things, and I touched on before about Dr. Helen Zoke and the independent review into culture. Well, Helen's back. We've brought Helen back to be frank, to get a report card. We gave a commitment when we did the independent review into culture that at some point along the implementation journey we'd get Alan and Clark and Dr. Helen Zoke back to have a look to see what we've done, where we've been, how well we've gone, and to provide us some advice on what more we can do to improve us and move us further along on that cultural journey. Earlier on in the week, I took opportunity to have a conversation with Dr. Helen Zoke to understand what she will be doing this time in the review, and she's looking for your help to understand where we are, where we need to be, and some of the challenges that might still remain in this space. Let's hear from Helen. Well, everyone, we're joined tonight by a very special guest. Some of you may remember her friendly face, but Dr. Helen Zoke, AO, is back with us to do a very important task. Helen, welcome to the Volunteer Forum. For people that might not know who you are and your background, do you just want to give us a brief insight to who Helen is?
Sure, thanks, Jason. And I can't begin to tell you how pleased we are to be working with the CFA again. So broadly, my background, in the past, I've been Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commissioner, Race Discrimination Commissioner. My last full-time role was as Chief Executive of Oxfam. But I've had a lot of interest in organisations, cultural change, and also how communities often know the answers to their problems and how do we actually work with communities to get solutions. So I think the refresh of the review that we did in 2022 is an important part of what I feel I can bring.
Absolutely. Look, and for some people might not know, in fact, I have a copy here in my office with me. Back in 2022, Helen was the lead reviewer with Alan and Clark Consulting on our external review of culture and issues management. I remember the first couple of meetings that we had where you made it very clear that you were happy to come in and do this review for Natalie, myself and the board at the time. But we had to give you a commitment. And that commitment was that we would live up to what we were going to sign up to. And part of that was to be held to account, be transparent, and seek to make sure that we walk the walk and talk the talk. So we have asked you back. Do you want to, I guess, outline what you're doing back, how you seek to do that, and how our members might be seeking to be able to get involved this time around?
Sure. So this is really looking at how much progress has been made since we put the recommendations to all of you within the CFA to have a look at really building a very positive culture and enabling everyone in the organisation, whether it's the people at the community level or the people working at head office, to do the best possible job for the community. So part of that is going to be like a desktop review. We've done that. We've looked at what the CFA have claimed they've done, that you as an organisation have done, and if you like, we're marking that homework, and we'll give some feedback about how well that we think that's been done. But more importantly, we do want to talk to people again, and we're mindful of how busy people are, Jason. There's a lot that's going on always with the CFA, whether it's in the summer or outside of the season. And the way that we've decided to do this is we're going to share with you all what we're calling conversation starters around specific topics. So these will be very brief papers, I promise you. You don't have to read a novel, but we want you to have a look at them, and they're focusing on 5 different areas that we think are pretty important for the CFA going forward. Volunteers as a core strength is the really critical one to start us off. Leadership and management, and not just Jason and the boss and the chief executive and the chair of the board. It's leadership at all levels through the organisation. We are going to relook at the complaints management and resolution process, which, if you like, was the the trigger for the review in 2022. We do want to go back and look at gender equality, what's happening in relation to the role of women within the CFA at all levels. And finally, we're looking at diversity and inclusion. So Jason, we want people to look at these partly because we want to remind you all what you have done. And there has been a lot of work that's been done. And people may have a view about that. It may be positive, it may be negative, but we want to remind you about what's been done. And we want to then take it forward in terms of what more could be done, what could be done differently, what needs to change. We'll be doing this by having one-on-one interviews, and we're going to run focus groups. We're going to try to give you as much notice as possible so that people can register their interest and volunteer to be part of those processes. Only we, the review team, will know who we speak to. So these are Chatham House rules discussions, but we will be really drilling down and saying, what do you think needs to happen now? What can we continue to work on to make the CFA what we know you all want it to be?
Absolutely, and as and quite importantly, you pointed out that similar to the first review, those conversations that our members have with you, entirely confidential. Nothing's disclosed to the CFA other than your opinion and recommendations and findings. So we'll be putting in the chat some more information tonight about how people might be able to access that. Information will be going out on members online for how people would be able to get involved. We are looking for, Helen, I understand, a really nice cross-section of our membership. So, our farming Class 1 brigades right through to our urban brigades and all brigades in between, country, city, the whole lot. And I guess that's sort of really what you're after, isn't it?
It absolutely is, Jason. And we need to get our heads back into your world at all the different experiences and all the different levels within a very constrained consultation process. So I really would encourage you to please register expression of interest. The details will be put on the membership portal, and just if you can find the time to talk to us, because it's your investment in your own organisation's future, and we know how important that is.
Well, Helen, thank you again. It's fantastic to have you back on board, helping us along on this journey. We always said it was going to be a journey, and we're so grateful for you and your team's ability to come back. As I said, mark our homework for good or for worse, but also talk to our people and make sure that we are forming a really solid path forward to cultural improvement right across CFA. As I said, information will be available on members online. We'll drop some more information in the chat this evening. Thank you, Helen, for coming along. It's fantastic to have a chat to you.
No, thanks for the opportunity, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Helen, for taking that opportunity to have a chat to me about your important work and, importantly, how you want to hear from our members, again, to get their thoughts, feelings, attitudes and views to where we are along our cultural journey. And as I said in that video there, more information is available on members online. We've put some links into the chat. Please encourage you to go and have a look and feel free to participate in that. Well, some of you might have seen on the YouTube here this evening some interesting little emoji type things. In fact, I think they're crowns, Brad, I see, against a number of names here in the chat this evening. They're called top fans, and I am absolutely ecstatic, Eric, to see that you are our top fan. It's based on the number of interactions with the chat. I know you're a very passionate man about CFA and contribute very much to the forum. So well done on making it to #1, and Tim Holland to you too, and Rob. There's a few in here that have earned that badge this evening. So well done, and keep those interactions coming. Well, on a more serious note this evening, before I close out the forum, I wanted to take a moment to pause and send my deep condolence on behalf of CFA to the families and friends and colleagues of the firefighters recently who died in Turkey. Reports at this stage confirm that 10 firefighters and rescue workers have tragically died, and another 14 have been seriously injured and hospitalised whilst battling wildfires in northwestern Turkey. Their courage, dedication, selflessness in the face of danger reflect the essence of what it means to serve. We mourn alongside their loved ones and the broader firefighting community,
united in their grief and solidarity. The incident compels us to reflect on the importance of being prepared for the upcoming fire season and has been vigilant on the fireground, ensuring that we apply our laces and the like. And again, yeah, it's just a tragic circumstance that's occurring. And as we know, there are wildfires continuing to ravage the Northern Hemisphere. And in fact, as we do go to air this evening, many of you will know Ian Hamley, who we've just recently deployed to British Columbia to participate in firefighting operations as part of the Australian international team. So we mourn our colleagues in Turkey, and we wish all safe and best endeavours to Ian Hamley whilst he's on deployment this evening. Well, that's it for the July Volunteer Forum. My many thanks to all the participants that come along this evening, who contributed to the conversation. My thanks to the staff and members who have contributed into the chats. Thank you very much for answering the questions of our volunteers, the important questions of our volunteers. Again, my big thanks to those behind the desk that make this all happen: Martin Anderson, Beth Remsaw, Alison Smirnoff, and of course my Executive Director, Brad Thomas, for their hard work and dedication for bringing this all together tonight. To Madison Brown, Chris Britton, Shane Peacock, Matt Chick, our Deputy Rowan Luke, Emily Peel and Tim Connor for coming on this evening and contributing to what I feel tonight has been an absolutely fantastic forum. Well, I reckon we've done enough in Melbourne for the forum, so we will be packing our bags and shipping it back out west to join a brigade, hopefully near you, likely in the northwest, and we'll see how we go there. Again, talking about season readiness and what it might look like as we get closer to the summer period. So with that, thank you very much, everyone. Go well, stay safe, and good night.